back to World Crisis Radio. We're just going through Rahm Emanuel's vendetta, the night of the long knives of Rahm Emanuel, an attempt to purge all authentic opposition elements from the Democratic Party structure, in particular in the House of Representatives. Targets have included Congressman Charlie Rangel of Harlem, ousted as the head of the all-important House Ways and Means Committee, the tax writing committee. Next on the list will be Congressman John Conyers from Detroit, immediately targeted in the wake of the conviction of his wife and the sentencing now of his wife this week for various nefarious activities, which can be real or not real, but that's not the reason this is going on. Congressman Benny Thompson of House Homeland Security, also targeted, especially because of this latest incident where he was instrumental in getting the word out that the Christmas Day bomber had been deliberately let in to the United States. We're watching the case of Adolphus Towns at the Government Operations Committee. We're also noting Dingell forced out, congressman from Michigan, longest serving, most seniority, direct connection to Detroit auto industry and the union. Somebody was going to fight for industrial employment in Michigan, the Midwest, and more broadly. Notice Congressman Murtha, now deceased, died in the wake of a gallbladder operation at Bethesda Naval Medical Center. Murtha was also targeted, right? The ethics accusations against Murtha had to do with the fact that he, like Dingell, these are the nodal points where the Democratic Party meets what's left of the trade unions. These are the things that the Wall Street characters like Obama, Emanuel, Geithner, and so forth always target. Before we leave the Congress, let's look at Kucinich. Now remember, Massa was targeted because he was the only ally Kucinich had in opposing the Obama health care plan. So far, Kucinich has been hanging tough. Pressure on him is tremendous. People should encourage Denny to fight this issue through all the way. He was on TV this week saying that he would oppose the Obama health care plan. We have Marcos Melitsos Zuniga, the unspeakable costs of daily costs. The CIA trainee, Melitsos Zuniga, has come out with his usual vile filth, probably inspired by foul-mouthed Rahm Emanuel himself, attacking Kucinich, saying that Kucinich deserves to be thrown out through a primary in the Democratic Party. Sorry, Melitsos costs CIA trainee. It's too late this time around. The primary was already in the first week of March, and Kucinich won it against a well-funded challenge. So Kucinich is still there, but his only partner in saying no publicly in the way that he did to the Obama health plan, Massa, is now out. Let's also look at the case of Congressman DeFazio of Oregon, who is in many ways one of the programmatically best people in the House, also courageous, the one who talks about a Tobin tax or a tax on derivatives, at least under some conditions. We know that Obama himself threatened Congressman DeFazio, saying, don't think we're not keeping score. In other words, we see that you're voting against us, and we don't like it. So, Rangel, Conyers, Benny Thompson, Kucinich, Massa, DeFazio, Dingell, and the late Murtha, all under attack. Now, it's broader. Let's look at the case of the New York governor, Patterson. Patterson now under attack because of alleged ethics violations. Who's orchestrating the scandal behind the scenes? Who is giving it the oomph and the drive? Rahm Emanuel once again. And here is a plan that you can see how Rahm works hand in hand with Wall Street. The designated replacement for Governor Patterson of New York is this guy Ravitch. Ravitch, now the lieutenant governor of New York, and Ravitch is promising draconian austerity. Maybe we just go through this at this point. The New York Daily News this week published the Ravitch plan to deal with the tremendous budget crisis in New York, which is on the same lines as California and Illinois. The Ravitch plan is he wants to become governor. He wants to balance the budget in 5 years. He wants to engage in high-interest bond borrowing, read MAFO bills, high-interest bond borrowing in the same way that Arnie Schwarzenegger did in California, increasing the debt burden at high interest and helping to bankrupt the state. Ravitch is demanding a receivership board, or this is what Rohatyn is demanding and Ravitch is expected to carry out. A receivership board essentially means a Big Mac, Municipal Assistance Corporation. That is the vehicle by which Felix Rohatyn seized control of the budget of the city of New York in 1975 in the New York City budget crisis when Ford said, drop dead to New York City. The Rohatyn, Ravitch, and Rahm Emanuel want to go back to this. The receivership board, the Big Mac, in effect. So the receivership board would be essentially really the ultimate authority, apart from, above and beyond the state constitution, in open violation of the state constitution. This situation would now be that the governor, in this austerity dictatorship that's planned, the governor of New York would be able to restore a balanced budget by decree. In other words, he could unilaterally revoke actions of the state Senate and the state legislature, override them in the name of financial discipline. The legislature would be stripped of many of its powers. The state constitution would be overridden. And if the governor didn't do it, then the oversight board, the receivership board, the new Big Mac would be able to do it. Notice, there's no talk here of making Wall Street pay. All that huge amount of money, the greatest money, river of money in the world, is going through Lower Manhattan, and there's no idea that you could tax that and do something to for the sake of the city. So you're essentially subsidizing Wall Street at the expense of every other person, man, woman, and child in the city. So this is another one. Now, that combination, Rangel, the most powerful black congressman, losing his post, and Patterson, the first black governor of New York, Rangel is out, at least as committee chairman, Patterson about to fall. This has caused a big, obviously big political crisis in Harlem. Let's also look to Illinois. Blagojevich, most indications now backed up by Wayne Manson's research that Blagojevich was driven out by Rahm Emanuel, and that ultimately that negotiation that was going on was the difference between Blagojevich wanting to control the nomination for Obama's Senate seat and Rahm Emanuel demanding that he would control it, and the result, the frame-up, or something like this, of Blagojevich with the help of the corrupt prosecutor out there, Fitzgerald. Back in a minute on World Crisis Radio.